Is it live? Yes, it is. Hello. Wow, sakto siya. Hello, everyone. Welcome back after hindi ko alam how many weeks.
Okay. Okay, screenshot ko kasi.
Yeah. We have a guest uh, joiner in the
Look
stream.
at the Pams and
Yeah.
a dog.
And Chuki. Not a Pam, but a Chuki. Okay, let me just do the usual checks.
Checking YouTube.
And the usual advertising.
Where is the YouTube link?
Okay.
Okay.
Working. Post lang on Insta. Live.
Oh my god, it's been a while.
Since?
We've had sprints.
Yeah. I think 2 weeks ba? I think around more, like 2 week break? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Pero weird kasi the past 2 weeks have been long holidays, long weekends for
Yeah.
us. So there were like a lot of plans in general since like long weekend siya. I like one of my friends came to visit from France. And so she's like doing all of her wedding stuff. She's gonna get married here, so she's doing all of the wedding preparations and meeting with vendors, ganun. So sobrang busy. Like, parang every other day, we go somewhere to help her. So parang,
Oh,
but
so
it's
stressful pa
fun.
na.
But it's fun. Pero yun nga, sobrang busy lang. Tapos
Mm.
itong weekend, actually, like, I took off time from work tomorrow din kasi we're renting an Airbnb. Kasi parang last weekend niya, parang gano'n.
Okay.
Yeah, kaya I wasn't free ng Friday.
Muntik pang hindi matuloy yun today. Pero,
Push through. Hinabol. Pero actually, medyo excited din ako basahin yung Mockingjay. Tinatry ko kanina tandaan yung the ending of
Catching
parang
Fire.
sa book,
Very
Catching
easy.
Fire.
Very easy naman kasi it
Yeah.
ended that way.
Yeah, so parang ngayon, okay, na-curious na ulit ako sa ano mangyayari. Wait, posted.
Specific Mockingjay na bird na emoji. So I'm just...
Dove lang ata yung ginamit ko. Ay, ano pa
Ikaw
yung
naman
ko?
ata.
Mahirap kasi, like, actually, I don't know kung ano yung tsura ng mockingbird. So, okay, load ko na siya sa Kindle. Saan ka may tumutunog?
Sa akin ata. Sorry.
Parang ako may narinig ko.
Sure ko lang. Gonna read Mockingjay.
Ay, hindi ko yata na-tag pala. Mention. Pero have you been reading throughout the week? Or?
Yes. I have.
Huh?
I have.
What have you been reading? Tinapos mo ba? Ano yung binabasa mo last time? Was it?
I was reading Song of Achilles, and I still am.
Kamusta? How is
So
it?
yun yung binabasa ko this week. I started last weekend lang, I think. Last long weekend. So almost halfway. Kasi nga I was like, uumpisahan ko na ba Mockingjay? Pero parang hindi pa kami nag-sprint eh. So,
I think binasa ko yun last year yata.
and
And I think I liked it because I really like the language, like the way she writes. Yung
style.
parang yung style niya, like the way she compares things to something like the seasons or
Yeah.
whatever, parang ganon. I remember like I have a lot of highlights and quotes kasi ang daming magandang phrases and sentences. So in general, parang wala naman akong big complaints in the retelling. Hindi naman ako super parang familiar enough with the story
Ah,
itself na like may isip ko parang, ha, hindi ganun yung, ano, parang ganon. Like, it doesn't make sense. So, parang okay lang siya sa akin. So, I think, hindi ko alam how it compares with, kunwari, like, Iliad and whatever the source material is. So, parang,
parang ano naman
enjoy
siya,
naman ako.
more of um dramatized version of
Mm,
an already fictional.
yeah.
So parang ang tinatry kong, well, I'm not there yet, pero parang the general gist of like Iliad is there. So parang ako,
Mm,
okay, we're um following the narrative. But at least fresh siya in a sense na yun nga, parang
may
homosexual.
different take, yeah.
Homosexual si Achilles and Patroclus.
Pero hindi ba ganun sa source material? Like, well, or may references doon, pero nothing conclusive.
Parang hindi. Parang hindi.
Mm.
He's,
Ang naalala ko lang,
they're just
af-
close, really
uh,
close, comrades.
yeah, ang naalala ko lang, after ko basahin, parang ako, I'm gonna watch Troy.
Kasi even
Just for
Troy,
the wish.
hindi eh. Like,
Yeah,
telenovela.
para siyang younger brother, cousin vibes, parang
Oo,
ganun.
parang super duper
No.
close lang talaga.
Parang very protective brother. Pero yun, parang akin, I'm gonna watch Troy for the visuals. In fairness, enjoyable movie pa rin siya even after all these years. And for
Mhm.
some reason, ang dami ko naalalang like lines. So I guess gano'n siya like, naalala ko yung mga parang, ano yung mga sisigaw nila dito, yung mga gano'n. Hindi ko alam kung bakit. I guess, gano'n ko siya kagusto when I was younger. Ang ganda yung puwet ni Brad Pitt. So,
Bakit nagkaroon ng filter yung ano ko?
Instagram stories.
Oo. Kasi I'm also posting what I'm reading, what we're reading. See.
Wait, lulog ko na nga pala yung book. Mockingjay. Okay. 239 pages.
Ilan
I'm
siya in
planning
Kindle?
to 339 sa Kindle.
Konti lang. Kasi yung
Mm.
actual book ay... Ay, hindi. Okay.
Same?
Maikli lang. Maikli lang ang Mockingjay.
Oh, okay.
390.
Okay. Okay. So, for context for everyone, this is technically part of our Hunger Games read along. So we've been reading the Hunger Games series. So I haven't read it before, and the other Pam Shenanigans have read it a couple of times before. So we're kind of comparing our experiences as like newbie and veterans to the book. We've done the first two books in the past few months. We also did live shows for each book where we have our mga guide questions as our general thoughts on the book since it's been called as like the YA dystopian novel. And so far, for me, para it holds up naman to that title. So I'm excited to read I guess the finale na kasi the next book is a prequel. So the finale to the trilogy and how everything is concluded. Hopefully may conclusion. Hindi siya like super duper open-ended ending. Where I guess we'll find out. So yeah. Mockingjay. So if you're reading with us, let us know. And I guess let's start the first print.
Yeah.
Para
Just trying to put my mind into Hunger Games mode because I've been reading Song of Achilles. So I'm like, okay, like
Sa
I need
Greek
to
mythology ka pa.
turn the dial
Kailangan
to
mo
why
pumunta in the future to a dystopian future. I'm gonna
go to the
test the
dystopian
audio. Ay, parang ang lakas. Ayan. Okay
and
lang ba?
yeah, that one.
Okay. Okay. Happy reading. Spread number one.
Not again.
Parang bagay sa jazz, the harp.
Hindi kung naka-default ata siya sa'yo. Kasi sa akin, din bubukas ako ng StreamYard. It's always the game, ano naman, coin.
Here go, I forgot to change from the last time. Hi, Elena. Good morning to
Hi,
you.
Elena. Welcome back. What
Welcome
will
back to
you be
Sprint.
reading?
Yes, we are both reading Mockingjay, third book in the Hunger Games. So I made it to page 26. I
Okay,
think
I only
that's
got to
chapter.
12.
Yeah, but I think my pages are shorter kasi phone. But I only got to chapter 2 yata. And so far, very bleak. Like the way that they described everything that is happening in District 12, very bleak. And parang it kind of reminded me of the first book where she spent a lot of time really describing the conditions in District 12, like the food scarcity and everything, ganun. But this time, syempre medyo iba. Kasi basically, hindi ko alam how. Spoilers, I think medyo everything we say from now is like spoilery, no? So parang medyo
Yeah,
mahirap. Yeah.
it is.
But yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah, so parang it started in a very, very, ano, depressive tone.
Pero I think, well, at least with chapter 1, and that's
Mm.
where I thought. A lot of reflection and introspection from Katniss. Just
Yeah,
trying to
parang
be
a lot of
like,
parang like her role in everything that happened, whether she intended it to happen or not, or she intended to step into that role or not. Parang a lot of reflection on that. And I guess nandun din yung general, parang, ano niya, inner struggle niya with, am I a part of this thing? Rebellion is, I don't think that's like a super, spoiler thing, but am I a part of the resistance to the people who are against the Capitol? Do I just want to be by myself and the people I love? So I think parang ano rin, parang it connects to her internal struggles ever since the first book. Like she's had this struggle ever since the first book na parang I just want to survive, but then I see they're doing wrong things, so I kind of want to fight them, but then people get hurt, so again, I just want to run away. So it's interesting
and
to see
it's
them
heavier
battle.
now because like it's literally her district that got
Yeah.
obliterated.
Yep. 87 pages in, and now on chapter 8 of Mama Love. What is Mama Love? Is that a book? Is that like a contemporary or a romance? I don't think I've heard of that book before. But yeah, it have pages. Did you just start the book today or maybe not? Because 87 pages, super fast. But yeah, we have a guest here by the way. But yeah, so far not much really to say about the book yet. Kasi ano pa lang, it's been 26 pages. Pero ano, in fairness, the way that they recap like everything that's like what happened to the different people, like with Finnick, with Joanna, with Pita, parang sobrang fast-paced. Parang, oh my God, wait. Parang everything is parang very one line lang. Here's what happened to this person, to Pita's family, to her family.
I guess it's apt for the
Yeah.
way that Suzanne Collins writes.
Yeah, parang very similar din naman with the other books na talagang she doesn't dwell on those things. Parang lagi siyang like medyo bigger picture. Saka either super close up on mga internal struggles ni Katniss or
Yeah.
parang very bigger picture. What are your initial thoughts when you first read it on the system in District? Is it a spoiler to say it? But yeah, District 13. Guys, I feel like this sprint is gonna be unintentionally spoilery, so be warned na lang. Parang we're gonna try our best to not be super
It's gonna
spoilery,
be
but it's a
hard because
third
like we're
book, yeah.
already
It's the finale, so it's kind of hard. Like, we're not gonna spoil the third book for you, but it will spoil the first two books, I think. So, warning. Fair warning.
I
Yeah, what were
guess
your first impression?
yeah, when I was reading Mockingjay, um just generally nervous and like suspicious of
Hmm.
District 13 because like even at the first chapter with the way Katniss was explaining it like another group of people who need me as a symbol, who
Yeah.
needs to feed me information, needs to dress me up. So it's like she can't exactly catch a break, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not exactly a very hopeful situation.
Uh,
Like I was very suspicious. Like there has to be something with the president and the whole district in
mm-hmm.
general. Like
Yeah.
how were they able to like hold up for so long with
Like
like
70 something,
extra
75 years. Yeah.
yeah exactly
Yeah. And actually, I think you were still in chapter one, but in chapter two,
Mhm.
they started explaining a bit more about the inner workings of District 13, like how they have the
Mhm.
schedules, very
The whole
controlled and
mhm.
everything. So it's obviously a very communist type of settlement in terms of that everything is owned by the I guess the whoever is
Yeah,
in the
everyone
management.
yeah,
Everything and then distributed equally
yeah,
controlled and everything, blah, blah. So it's a
and
very
everyone has to
communist.
contribute yeah
Yeah, they have like a schedule, they have like a job to perform, and everyone has a role. And usually, obviously, communism usually gets like very bad rap, but then if you just think of it from a like this is obviously a dystopian novel, so it's kind of interesting that that's the setup. But then if you think about how they're gonna survive 75 years underground, cut off from everything, and they have to pretend to be dead, like the
yeah
district itself, like that's the parang logical way to go about it, is that you have to control everything. But then at some point, when you have like one group of people dictating and controlling everything for everyone else, then usually there's gonna be some problems that I feel like we're gonna see later on.
yep it's like we have 300 pages more of like I think that 300 plus pages is too short for
Yeah, but
that
then at the
everything
same time, I always think that even in the first and second book, na parang it seems super short for a dystopian
but it
like
makes
story
sense
that's like super fleshed out. But then when
mm-hmm.
you read it, it kind of makes sense because there's
Yeah,
not a lot of emphasis on the I
the
guess the
main
drama of the individual characters. It's more of like a broad thing and just really focusing on whatever
mhm.
messaging, the plot
Yeah,
that Suzanne Collins has for
which is
us.
actually what I like because like
Yeah.
I guess at my age I'm not usually I'm very at least intentional at least to
Mm,
the books with high details that I read.
yeah.
For example, if it's right now I don't read Brandon Sanderson's books because I know there's gonna be heavy
Yeah.
details. I'm like, I kinda don't need right now.
Yeah. Parang sometimes I have phases where I want all of
Mm,
that super intricate like
yeah.
world building, because then you're just super immersed in the
Immersed.
whole thing. But then you really have to commit to it, because if you don't commit to it, it gets confusing, you forget about it, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'm in that mood for like super guilty pleasure where I want all of the drama between the I want the angsty feelings and emotions from the characters. But yeah, and then sometimes you just want this kind of story where it's very compact and tight. We're just really telling a story rather than like pandering to like the different things that like my angsty emotions and whatever. So
Yeah.
super parang nice middle ground siya in terms of storytelling.
Yeah, because like somehow she always finds a way to balance things out, like
Yeah,
gives you a good picture of what's happening without dwelling on like
yeah, like hindi
very
siya
small.
not super Haruki Murakami level where like the chair has four legs, each one of it made with the wood from the whatever, and like super like it's 5 centimeters, whatever. It's not super duper
Like it
detailed
ain't
like
that
that.
deep, bro, but okay.
Yeah, so sometimes that's I guess interesting because of the different ways you could describe a single thing, but then sometimes you just want to get on with the plot. Yeah,
True.
so speaking of getting on with the plot, we want to go to the next sprint.
So we could read a lot
Yeah. Yes.
just to
So, sprint
catch up on.
number 2. Happy reading, everyone. Hindi ko pa rin pala. I forgot to change it. I will change it right now before I forget again.
Ooh. Was it still up?
Yeah, is it ito ba?
I didn't hear it, I think, because it's raining.
Mm. How was your reading?
I think I was able to read more this time until page 30. How about you?
I read until page 51. I think I read quite a bit in this sprint. And it's a lot of just still Katniss sort of figuring out if she wants to be a part of this or not.
Mm.
And a lot of like look into what happens in District 13. It's super interesting. And the first news about on Tita, so quite interesting. Not from not from.
Yeah, I got to the part where the interview is finished.
Right, yeah, the interview.
So like
I
the
think
after.
Yeah, so I think at the end of the last book in our discussion, there was a question of what we think will happen to Tita. And
Mm.
I guess tama naman what we thought, or what I thought, at least, na he would either be, he would not be dead. He would be alive and
Mm.
doing something. So I guess the current thing that he's doing is like a mouthpiece for the capital kind of thing. But it's interesting that it's not a complete 180. Like Snow was smart enough na if Peter did a complete 180, like he was for the capital and whatever, it would not be believable to
Yeah.
everyone. So it's more of like a kunya they're pretending that he just wants like peace, but really like it's sending a different message. And it's super interesting to see how that can be interpreted in the different districts.
Yeah, and like they did mention that with the resistance from the other districts is
Mm,
shakier,
yeah.
so they're more susceptible to like propaganda.
Just want, yeah. Or baka they'll have more to lose if the war keeps going on. So
Mm.
parang they would prefer to just not have it at all. Okay, super interesting na in this, even in this war, Katniss' role is kind of similar to her role in the Hunger Games when it comes to President Snow, like what President Snow wants her to do and what District 13 wants her to do. It's kind of like similar,
Mm.
like be the face. So we're still have that same thing where she's gonna have like a dress or a prep team and whatever. I'm just curious how this will turn out. I'm still
Just a
sad.
different
Is Cena really gone? Is he really gone? Is there gonna be a surprise? Plot twist?
you'll see.
I want to see more Finnick though. When is he gonna be here? Parang I think the only thing that I read about him is that he's kind of lost it. Kaya naman yung knowing, alam mo yun.
Hmm. Maybe you're right, maybe you're not.
Elena is 133 pages in.
It's the
Um,
neighbors of hell.
chapter
Wait.
11 of The Neighbor. Oh, it's a different book. Yes? Yeah, I think it's a different book. I'm gonna make myself some coffee for next print and reading a book for next print. Nice, nice. So, what are you reading in the next print? Are you gonna read Mama Love or Neighbor of Hell? And I've never heard of both books. Is it like a Neighbor from Hell? Is that like a contemporary? It could be like romance or it could be thriller. You don't really know.
Yeah, like a cutesy romance, like
Yeah, like enemies to
enemies to
lovers,
lovers. Yeah.
or it could be apparently horror.
Slow burn, enemies to lovers romance.
I There was something here that in here they mentioned how it's interesting that Katniss was like has sympathy for her prep team. Is it? It's not a spoiler, but yeah, I think you know that in the her prep team is in District 13, and they were kind of punished for doing something, and Katniss like had a lot, like she was really mad that they were punished very brutally, blah blah blah. Why are they doing it? And it's just interesting that Gail pointed out, like, why are you sympathizing with them? Aren't they like part of the capital? Blah blah. And it's
Yeah.
that same concept we're talking about, how like yes, they are, like they have a fault because they didn't do their own research, they didn't think for themselves, but at the same
Yeah.
time it's kind of hard to do that when you're born in the system
Yeah. 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 When you're
and
born
you're
into
the
this.
one. Yeah, so it's just interesting that they pointed that out.
Wait, which chapter are you currently in?
I am in chapter 4. Yeah, 4.
Chapter 4. I think I'm in. Why are you reading in your phone though?
Because I don't have I forgot to charge my tablet.
Oh my god. Kindle na nga lang siya.
Nasan kanina, like mga 5 minutes before we went, like before we went to the prep, like 30 minutes before the live, I opened it like, oops, walang charge. Like as I was looking for a charger, I'm like, I can't find the charger. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna read from my phone. And I guess it's deleted because right now I'm just in the couch. Like there's a lot of mess in like my usual spot because I am packing stuff for a trip tomorrow. So
Hmm.
I'm just in my couch and like medyo maliit na space. So parang ang hirap mag tablet. Parang okay na rin. Actually, recently, ang dalas ko magbasa from my phone.
Really?
Parang sobrang, oo, hindi ko alam. Usually, I hate it kasi parang, one, maliit yung screen, so parang ang daming swipe. Like, ang dalas mo mag-swipe, ganun. But then, for some reason, maybe it's a convenience. Parang, pag, yeah, nakahiga
But
na
is
ako,
it
tatapos.
small though?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I have it on this size.
Ah.
So, it's not super, super small, but still small. I don't know. It's just convenient right now. Yung Kindle, my Kindle is very old, so it's kind of slow. So when I started reading on my iPad, then I tried to read on my Kindle again. I got so like frustrated. Like when I swipe, it would take like a second before the page would load. Well,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's time for a new Kindle, but not today. Well, I have the page in yellow, parang cream siya and not
Mm.
black para hindi
Yeah, yeah,
super
yeah, yeah.
painful to the eyes. I'm on my phone all the time anyway, so I guess doesn't matter.
Okay. Because I feel like that reminds me of like my high school college phase
Mm.
where I was reading books in iBook, sa iPod Touch.
I yeah.
And like super liit. It was like I'd read
Super.
some
Well, iPad Touch before, that's super small compared to
exactly
phones
like
ngayon, di ba? Oh my God, sobrang nostalgic ng iPad Touch.
right? The blue one. I had the blue one, the neon blue.
I remember pa, I think the one I had, the first ever Apple product I had was the iPod that you can clip.
Mm.
It's
Yeah,
just for
yeah,
music. The iPod you can clip. That's
the
super nostalgic.
iPod Shuffle,
With
I
the
think.
clip.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the one with the clip.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The one you could clip on
Thinking,
your
yeah,
shirt,
yeah.
whatever.
I think it was my first ever Apple product. And super like interesting at the time. Parang, whoa, super small. I can clip it to my bag.
You really do have to
It's
keep on. If you
blue.
want to add songs, you have to keep on
Yeah,
plugging it.
yeah. Those were the days. It's iconic where you can select stuff by the wheel thing. Super cool. You want to go to the next sprint?
Yes.
can read a lot. Okay, starting the next sprint. Ooh. I feel like that went by so fast. Probably because I was eating.
Probably. Well, I finally got to chapter 4 when they found the prep team.
Yeah, it was
I actually
very
forgot.
very like brutal, but then at the same time, you think about like it's hard to say if it's wrong or if it's right. The way they've been treated.
Yeah, well, I guess it's
Um,
mostly like there's a personal and emotional connection kasi
yeah,
since with Katniss.
I made it to page 74, which is chapter 6, and
Mm-hmm.
we see a little bit more of Finnick. Um, and here's a very laid back nature, or more of like he's not quite himself.
Yep.
But then it's kind of sad because every now and then he shows like flashes of his sort of like the way he always teases Katniss and his wit with
Mm-hmm.
Katniss. So kind of
His
just
piece of
remember,
himself.
yeah, but he's still very much not himself. Oh, okay, sorry. But now we're. It's kind of funny how they're preparing Katniss, right, to become this Mockingjay and everything. It's pretty much like a very elaborate like marketing campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, we need to present Katniss this way,
That's
or
so
we need to
cute.
cover, we need to cover this car, but we need to like make her look super pretty, so we can then add all of the artificial scars and
Mm-hmm.
to make her look like she's been in battle, blah blah blah. It's like
And
this is
like
just
the
a
material needs to be approved.
yeah, and then they need to air it. They're gonna have to film it and everything. And then she said something along the lines of, because she wanted to go and actually join the front
Yeah.
lines because that's where her most, I guess, that's when she inspires people when she's actually in it rather than the whole press and like videos and whatever. But then she says like, someone asked like, "What if you die? We can protect you all the way." Blah, blah. It's like, just make sure you're filming it. You can probably use that footage anyway. I'm like, yep, marketing. It's kind of funny that this is the way that they do the war. Like it has, which is kind of true. Like there's a lot of like propaganda involved. A
Yeah.
lot of it's not just like just physically fighting. There's a lot of making sure that the districts are all they have like high spirits and they all want to follow the cause and support the cause. And to do that, you need some kind of propaganda, and
Mm,
it's I
exactly.
guess the necessity of marketing.
More if they had internet and social media.
Yeah, kailangan they need to do different influencers mga ganun.
Influencers
Mga
from District
ganun.
13 and
Yeah.
12.
I just remember this random story because earlier, because since I'm still working kind of in the marketing space, earlier, like one of my colleagues sent me this. It's like something that happened in Australia. Like it's an influencer marketing campaign. But what they did was they tried to be very subtle and cheeky about it. It's a company for butt plugs, and
Uh-huh.
so they have this campaign that's all about peaches, right? Because but peach, whatever. So what they
Okay.
did is that they send random peach things, so like peach candy, peach juice, peach whatever,
Mm,
to influencers, and then they just add like a typewritten note on like a piece of paper, like a bunch of peach related puns or joke or whatever. Like there's no note of who it was from, what brand,
okay.
no nothing. Like just the peach, let's say
The
peach
actual, yeah, yeah,
juice.
yeah.
Yeah, and then like a strip of like paper. It's not even like a card. It's just like literally a printed piece of paper with
Okay.
something type printed on it. And then there's like this group for influencers in Australia. They were like they started to get creeped out because I think it happened for like five, not I don't know 5 weeks, but there were like five deliveries, And then they started to get creeped out, and one of them almost reported it to the police because they thought that like someone was stalking them or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We were like, what did I expect? Would didn't expect that to happen. But then, if we were sending random items to
Mm,
someone who's like somewhat of a public figure with no like proper note or whatever, I mean, they would get creeped out. So it was
yeah.
just funny. Like I just remembered it because of this whole marketing thing.
But it worked. I'm assuming the videos like took
I
off.
I yeah, I don't know yet. I haven't seen like I'm not as in tune with the influencers and stuff in Australia, but I haven't seen the results of it. But I think it has been revealed already which brand it was and why they were sending peach stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But then it's just so funny that a lot of the influencers were like getting creeped out.
Or like maybe they thought it's like, is this a drop shipping? Or like I think it's
Yeah.
because it's a thing here in the Philippines where you receive like Shopee or Lazada packages that you've never ordered. So
Really?
getting
Have you received a lot of packages you've never
no, not
ordered?
really. But it happens locally, as in like
Ah, really?
apparently it's like a scam of some sort because like
Mm.
they insist that this is cash on delivery or that you ordered it because it has your address. So it
Mm.
seems legit and it's not the rider's fault because like they're
Yeah, so
literally
then the shop where
yeah,
it came from is probably the scammer and
yeah, and
whatever.
they have their addresses, whatever.
That's so weird. I'm thankfully I've never experienced that.
Because
But
like
I
they
think
would
it,
post
I think the creepy factor is just that there's like just one small piece of paper with a note. Not even like colored paper that would indicate the
not
brand's
even like a
color.
card, like
Yeah, or
vellum board.
nothing, not even like yeah, an actual like thick, higher GSM paper so that it feels more like a note and just not just like random like stalker notes.
Well, at least it
So
wasn't them asking for payment, just
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
because they know their addresses and stuff.
I mean, I guess it's good that nobody actually reported it to the police. That would be like a nightmare for the agency.
Would have been nice though if like it was sort of like a scavenger hunt kind of
Mm.
thing where everyone who got packages tried to piece together like
Yeah,
clues
like
as to
there's like
who the
different
brand
clues.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be like it would be more obvious that it's like a brand thing and not
yeah,
something
yeah,
creepy. If it's like clues, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
if you
yeah,
see what other influencers are posting, you see clues as well. So I'm like, okay.
yeah,
But if it's just like creepy, like obviously the notes are about like butts because it's a butt plug company, so
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
makes it even creepier.
Like, why are you talking about asses? And why is it with
Oh
me?
yeah. Elena, 192 pages in, and chapter 4 of all buses lead to the same place. Wow, are you reading like different books per sprint? It's super interesting.
Is it a short story collection or like
All buses lead to the same place. I feel like I've heard of that.
or like
Or
maybe these are
is that just like
chapters? Ah, is it a short story collection? Okay.
it is?
Because she said yes to
Ah, okay, okay. I first remember last person. Okay, so that's why it's like a different book per sprint. Like, wait, it's like 87 pages in, and then 133 and different books? How?
I would literally like your brain would want to have your brain.
Yeah.
But I feel like if that's a power that you have, like for example, if you just the power to like be able to read a whole book
Like,
just
flip.
by doing this, but like I'm like on the other hand, it takes the joy
Would it
out
be
of like
fun? Yeah, would it be fun
reading.
to
Yeah,
do that? Kind of reminds me of the book that you read, the book eaters, where they just
yeah,
eat
book
the book
eaters.
and
Yeah,
then
and
they
they
get the
retain. Yeah,
knowledge. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe in school I would love that. For school textbooks, that would be fun. I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have
Like
to do any afterwork. Like I have a
you have
choice.
to read. Yeah, yeah,
I want
yeah.
I want to have a choice where super
It'd be
greedy.
like I'd go to the bookstores. I'd go to the bookstores and like pick
You just
the
do that.
most expensive books, the hardbounds, the art books, whatever, the most expensive ones, and just do that.
But then, if you think about it, like the most expensive books, though, like special edition, whatever, isn't like the joy of having them. It's like reading the book while experiencing all of the special
More,
features that it has.
I guess, more of because I won't be able to afford them and
Yeah,
or want to buy them anyway. So I might
yeah.
just as well like do that.
I feel like I would probably go to like a library or something and just walk
Mm,
like aisle by aisle just to do that.
encyclopedic.
Or like maybe like classics, so they're so long. I'm
Oh
gonna
my
do
God.
that. Like it's so hard to read.
I feel
Or
like
I
that
would
would
love that for
I would
foreign
be
language books.
dizzy with like all this information that I have in my head.
Yeah. But then how well do you remember the books that you read in general?
I guess remembering just the general gist, I guess. Not so much of like each plot.
Mm,
So one general gist of the book, or two, the emotions that I had when I
yeah.
was reading it.
Or like maybe a specific scene where
Yeah.
it really like you had some feelings about it. Like I feel like for me, I also have like a general knowledge of like the story, maybe like the plot twist at the end or whatever.
Mhm.
But I forget all of the individual like scenes
Yeah,
that
the
take
gist.
place. But then when I read it again, that's when I start to remember everything. Yeah. But I like if you ask me to like say what type of book that I read a long time. Let's say Six of Crows. Like it's been a while since I read that. I
I
like
haven't
I
read it,
know what
so
happened. Yeah, I know.
don't
I know what
spoil.
happened. But then when I try to remember, like, okay, this is what happened in chapter one, and then they did this and that. Like, I
Yeah.
can't super remember.
Even with
So,
like
but
I think Greenbone Saga. Like we know I know what happened to
Greenbone
that.
Saga.
It generally happened at the end, but the small details in terms of
Yeah.
world building or like whichever happened to this particular character that isn't exactly a main one.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that just means we need to reread it. I do want to reread it eventually.
Is that our next project after Hunger Games?
Greenbone Saga read along. So I really want to read it because I want to do like the plot summary video among the
Uh,
list of videos that I wanted to do, but I never do. But we'll see. But yeah, I still remember like the opening scene though for Greenbone Saga because it's like a. I feel like it's kind of like a book. What do you call that? Like a book end for me, like the opening scene of Jade City and then the closing scene. I feel
mm,
like it started, it ended. Well, should I say that it ended? I feel like that might be a spoiler for some people, so but there's like a connection.
yeah.
Makes it very memorable. 30-minute timer. I need to finish my book. Do you want to do the? I think the next one is the last one, right?
Yeah, the next one's the last one.
Do you want to do it for 30 for Elena?
We can do that. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I think we can do 30 since we pushed and moved the spread so many times.
Yeah,
That's 30.
should be
And
perfectly.
oops, not 40, 30.
The
Okay.
40.
40. One
We'll add.
episode of like a Korean drama. Okay, let's do the 30-minute timer for the last sprint. Hopefully, Elena, you finish your book, and hopefully I get to like a good not 50, maybe like 30% of the Mockingjay. Happy reading. Hello. How was the final sprint?
Hi again.
Hello
I
now.
ironically got to read less than the sprint.
It's a 30-minute. It's a 25-minute.
To page 62, which is decent
Yeah.
still. Like at least I got to read. Good night. How about you?
I read about 31%. So page 108. And
Quick.
I think Elena finished the book that she's
Mm,
reading. She's nice. Good. It was
something.
fantastic. I really enjoyed the book and gave it 5 stars. I'm gonna check out this book later. Thank you for spending time, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us,
Yep.
Elena. I hope you join us next
Whenever that
time,
would
whenever
be.
whenever that next time is.
Exactly.
Yeah. I guess my initial thoughts were 30% of the book, but so far, what I'm really enjoying here that isn't that present in the first two books is seeing how Katniss and Gale work with each other. Like obviously we've seen a little bit of that when they were doing their hunting in the first book before the Hunger Games, but then now you see how well they actually really know each other
Yeah.
and how well they actually work together, even though they both
No
have very
words are
different,
spoken. Yeah.
yeah, even if they have very different approaches to
Yeah.
the whole thing. Like
Different,
Candace is
very
very
different
much the
moral
very,
compasses.
yeah, Katniss is very much very emotional, very, I guess you could say, weirdly enough, Katniss seems like she's very empathetic about what happens to other people, but then Gale is more on the practical. He's
Yeah.
idealistic in a way, but like the actions that he does is more like
Logical.
logical about it. So he can kind of understand certain things that the District 13 is doing, and why they're doing it, whereas Katniss just really doesn't like some of the things they do. Which I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, I mean it's a tricky thing, but like it's like seeing their like the years of friendship that we've always been told that they had. Like you can actually see it on display for this book. So that's been the first 30% so far. And and I'm at the part where they have like the videos, like the SDE, the same day edits
Uh,
of the propaganda videos. It's just so funny that they even have, oh, we can cut up this video and have this angle, and they're like,
yeah.
exactly, it's marketing. It's exactly like marketing. It's just so funny that
Creative
they even have
process.
like, yeah, they even have like different versions of the same thing.
Yeah.
Like let's do one
I
for
wonder if they
district
saved
this,
it
district
as
that.
final version 2.
Final,
Final
super final
reveal.
V1. Or like yung ano na, untitled.mov. Mga ganun. Oh my gosh. It really, I think it is quite actually unique among other books that I read. The whole media angle of like a rebellion. Like I usually just focuses on the actual like actions that you do day to day, like how to feed the people, how to defend, how to attack, what strategies do we do. But then this one
Yeah.
just focuses a lot on like projection and the images that they show other people or their I guess their opponent and whatnot. I'm trying to
Mhm.
think of like another
Yeah,
book
other
that has like a lot of
dystopian.
rebellion, yeah, or not even like yeah, like a lot of like rebellion based books, and I'm like not a lot of them has this. I can think of one actually, Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. You
I
haven't read
haven't.
that, right? Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
read it.
has like a big. They kind of have like a Mockingjay concept as well, where
Mm.
there's this person that's like the face of the rebellion, and like everything he does is in public. Everything he does in public is sort of like sometimes questionable, but you can
Monitored.
see that it's all part of like a bigger piece of like a campaign
Mm.
to create this big rebellion. So that is my invitation to you to read Mistborn. I mean, I haven't read the second and third book, so maybe it could be like another budget
I
reading
haven't even
material.
finished
Way of Kings.
Starlight
The
Archive.
next, yeah, I haven't started it because I want to finish Mistborn first. That's like a
But it's
long
so
series. You're
good.
gonna finish
No,
everything
I know it's really
before
good.
you read Mistborn.
I bought the two
Next two
next two
books.
books, but even though I love Way of King so much, I still can't seem
It's hard to
to grapple like just
commit. It's
this.
hard to commit.
Uh,
That's why I read Mistborn first.
but it's also long. Like it's also
Yeah, I think
multiple
it's like
books.
700, 700, 600.
Oh, oh my god.
Yeah.
At
Like I
least
have the physical. I bought the physical copies of it after I read the first book on Kindle because I loved it so much. I bought like the trilogy. Like I even
Mhm.
like it's so hard to find a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hardcover
The physical
of it
copy.
because they only have like the mass market version with like
Mm.
the new covers. Like I really like the old covers where it's like more of this artistic style rather than the modern version of the mass market. But then I haven't read it because I feel like I need to commit.
Brain power.
Yeah, I need brain power.
I
I
read
read
like
the first book pretty fast because it was it even surprised me how accessible
yeah,
the language was. I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
if it's the same with Way of Kings, but
It's very like I also loved Way of Kings very much because like especially like the characters, how
mm,
distinct they are and how distinct the different journeys are and how they could like mishmash at some point
mm,
without necessarily meeting together.
yeah.
But the motivation is not enough for me. Like
To
I wish
tackle
there
like
was
is it
something
like
more than
1,000? Is it like 1,000 pages?
1,300, I think.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
1,300. That's like
1,300. And because the version that I had is like the
yeah.
mass
Is it the smaller
paperback.
one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it hard to read?
The ones that,
Like super
huh?
small text. Isn't it hard to read? Super small text, I'm assuming.
It
Or it's okay.
is at some point, but I got used to it because like I am not usually one to go for hardbacks anyway.
Okay.
I guess at the time that I was reading Way of Kings, I already read a lot of books prior, so I don't
Mm,
feel the need to like I need to read this fast because like I haven't read so much
yeah.
this year or whatever. So I guess that's also a factor. Like maybe you read it towards the end of the year when you've already read so much.
Maybe it's my 2024 read along goal. Way of like Stormlight Archive.
Oh my god. Gonna
Like a
need like
1 year project.
2 months. 2 months for each book.
2 months per book. Like to read the actual book, not just to have a
Yes.
break in between books.
You won't have a break. You
Yeah. How
after two
many?
months,
Like there's five, right now?
I think
Five
so. I think I only
out?
have three.
Yeah, so
Maybe 4 or 5. Because
yeah,
like
so
Rhythm
like
of War, I
roughly
remember going being released a year the year that we read Way of Kings or the following year.
mm,
So there might be 5. Stormlight,
yeah.
okay. Me.
So we need like a year with like a week break in between books. A week or two break in between books and then we can finish Starlight Archive.
What? Ah, okay. So only book 4 was released last
Book five is not here yet. Okay.
2020. But looking at Goodreads, why is it until book 10 that is
It
untitled?
is.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it is
god.
until book 10. There are 10 books. Have fun. So really, if they release that, it's like a full 1 year project, like one book per month. And then you
Probably.
get like a couple of breaks per month, like a week
Because like
break
in between,
per
there
book.
were also releases for other series. So it's a
Yeah.
long, like a very long
It's
haul.
it is very long.
Like, would I still be alive by then? Like, assuming that he would also release books in between for like other series.
Yeah, like he
Oh
releases other stuff as well.
my god, the brain
Like
power that
he
I could
even
never.
did like that Kickstarter thing. Like that's
Yeah,
for
I
books.
actually bought
And you
it.
have it. Yeah, you have it.
I have it. I have the ebooks. It's been notifying me via email, but I still, until it was already officially released. The thought of like reading it before it's released in public, I
Yeah.
was like, I guess I wasn't able to fulfill that.
I guess you didn't really need the early access.
Oh my god. But I guess the thought of like seeing the email that it's like it's
Yeah.
there, uh, someday the books are judging me.
Someday.
Book 2 and 3.
Yeah. But I'll definitely finish Miss Bourne saga first before I do Way of Kings. I feel like it
Yeah,
might prepare me better for
this is the
the
most
Stormlight Archive.
series if ever.
What?
Because it would mean if you start Stormlight Archive, you're just starting a new one and not finishing
Yeah.
another again.
Yeah. As usual. Well, I'm finishing Hunger Games. It's
I
like
mean,
tomorrow, probably.
okay. I guess that's
Out of the many series that I have started.
probably like Mockingjay. Like this would only be like not even 1/4 of like Way of Kings.
A Way of Kings. That's like a brick, a proper brick.
It is. Could use it as self defense, probably.
Yeah, so I guess that concludes today's
Yeah.
sprint. Thank you to everyone who joined us. And if you're also reading Mockingjay, you can chat with us about it in the Discord. I have the link below. Honestly, we're not super active on it because we're just not super active in general online, except for the sprints. So really, if you want to talk to us, probably the best way is to message us on Instagram. But we will still have the link below because that is where we will be watching the movie, which we'll watch some in September because we're still reading the book and
Nice.
we're kind of taking it slow. So we'll just let you know when we'll watch it on Discord, and we'll try our best to announce it like a week before so that you can actually like find time to join. And yeah, there are two parts to the movie, so we'll probably do that in like consecutive weeks. Part one and then part two, and then we move to the prequels. Yeah. So if you want to join us for the read along, there's a lot of time for you to read the first two books if you haven't
Mhm.
already. They're super quick to read. You can probably finish them in a weekend. And yeah, thank you again for joining. And we'll see you next sprint, whenever that is. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.